Now that I have the mould, the next stage is to cast the wax. This is my wax melter, an upturned iron. Okay, shake and rotate the mould to get the wax into all parts of the mould, so there's no bubbles, hopefully. And then turn it upside down so that the wax flows into the bottom of the leg. That empties the wax out, and I then refill. And then let it set. Don't need the pouring cup. You notice there's a lot of flashing on this first cast. I think what I could do to get around that is to shave a bit of plaster off the mother mould so it fits tighter together. But apart from that, it's not too bad. So this is the ponytail, which was cast just off the shoulder. I didn't cast it in place because it would have made the mould a bit too complicated. So I cast it on the shoulder in the same plane as the body, and then I just stick it on now at the end. Just tidying up the join. This is it's just a normal soldering iron. It's got a temperature control on it, and you can turn it down to a minimum of 180. That seems to be perfect to melt the wax without burning it. Just removing all the flashing. This is a very tedious process, probably one of the worst parts of doing the lost wax process. Even if you get a really good cast and you've got a really good mould, there's always work to do on the wax. And I think that will do. There they all are, all cleaned up, sprued and stuck onto a pouring cup, ready for the ceramic shell to be applied. This is a new slurry I've got, this Westcoat, and I think this is a dodgy batch because it's not sticking to the wax for some reason. I think they neglected to put the wetting agent in there. So I've just sprayed it with some detergent just to get the slurry to stick. So this handle I attached, I just pushed it, melted it down into wax just so I had a handle to hold on to. Obviously it's no longer needed. So I'm just heating it up to pull it out of the wax. Because this is a complex shell, there's a lot of surfaces which are hidden. Now normally you'd heat the shell really rapidly so that the wax melts before it has a chance to expand and it flows out. But because of these hidden surfaces, it might not heat up quick enough to melt, and the wax will have a chance to expand before it melts, and that can crack the shell. So I'm drilling some holes all around in the shoulders, and this will help release the pressure of the wax if that does happen. Okay, this is my burnout area. It's just a pile of fire bricks. Just heat it full blast. Get the wax melting, and it'll then just pour out of the pouring cup at the bottom. You can see it coming out of those holes I drilled. It looks like quite a lot is coming out of those holes. If I hadn't drilled those holes, I suspect the shell would have cracked. Sometimes it can get a little bit out of control and set fire to the wax in the tray. When this happens, you just take off the heat and just let it calm down. Most of the wax is out now, but I'm just continuing to heat it just to burn off the soot, because handling it when it's covered in soot can make a heck of a mess. Now this isn't fully fired yet. I've just heated it a bit just to melt the wax out, but it would need to be heated a lot more to properly fire the shell. I will do this when I'm actually making the bronze. So here's my setup. So the compressor is just to supply air through tubes to the furnace, just to increase the temperature a bit. Okay, there's my copper, and in the bag there's pre-weighed out manganese and silicon. The copper and the manganese and silicon will make about 3 kilograms of silicon bronze. I've got a charge of bronze already in there, which I will melt first, and then I will then dissolve the silicon and the manganese into that before adding the copper. The other furnace here is for the shell. Okay, so I've heated this up now. It's melted the bronze. I've now put in the manganese and silicon, and I let that dissolve in the bronze that's in the bottom of the crucible, and then I'll gradually feed in the copper. I'm doing this, the crucible with a lot more than 3 kilograms, but I wasn't sure how much it would hold, so I'm doing it in 3 kilogram batches. So I'll make 3 kilograms, and then I'll have a look how much space is left in the crucible and decide then whether I can put another 3 kilograms in and another 3 kilograms in. So 3 kilograms at a time. Most of this copper is stuff I had from old house renovations. I stripped out old central heating systems from houses I've had in the past. I just kept all this copper. Okay, so now it's time to fire the shell. So I've made about half the bronze. I'm now getting the shell fired ready. There's those little tubes I blow air through. It's all very basic stuff. I'm going to have to get some better setup for this. So just put it in there, and it'll blow extra air in, and it'll get the temperature up higher. Okay, so I've got everything in there now, all the copper's in. Just give it a stir, make sure all those metals are mixed up thoroughly. And here's my second batch. So the second load of silicon and manganese goes in there. Give that a good stir around, that should dissolve nicely. Then I can start feeding in another batch of copper to make it up to 6 kilograms now in total in the crucible. Okay, everything's in. The crucible's probably slightly over half full, probably 2/3 full, and that's more than enough for these for this cast. Give it another stir, make sure everything's mixed up properly. and then just heat it up again while I get the shell ready. What I haven't shown on the video is I've opened the other furnace, I've taken the shell out and turned it around the right way, ready for pouring. Unfortunately I didn't get that on video. Just scraping off the crud, get a nice clean surface. I do like silicone bronze, it's so fluid. Okay, the shell is ready. And the bronze is also ready. I always seem to rush this part for some reason. I got it in my mind that I have to do it quickly just in case the bronze solidifies before I have a chance to finish, but of course in reality I've got plenty of time. I decided to take the front off there so I could get the crucible down lower to the pouring cup so it doesn't go everywhere. These tongs need adjusting. They were made for a smaller crucible. I just need to modify them a bit so they fit this larger crucible. Lovely. It flows in there nicely. No leaks. It's always good when that happens. That goes on the top just to keep the heat in the pouring cup so that it stays liquid longer, and then it can feed liquid bronze to the solidifying sculpture, and that will then stop it from shrinking or getting breaks in the bronze. Supervisor's just shown up just to check my work. He won't come down there when I'm working. It's too noisy. He's a very timid dog. What I'm deciding to do here now is completely unnecessary. I've decided I'm going to put the air back on. I'm going to blow cold air onto the bottom of the sculpture so that it freezes faster in the pouring cup. That means there will be a movement of bronze from the pouring cup down into the shrinking sculpture again, so that it doesn't shrink. The bronze is being fed to it as it contracts. And it will also prevent cold tears in the bronze. I think it's completely unnecessary because at this stage I think it's pretty much solid anyway. Okay, dunk in the water just to get it cooled down faster. Could just leave it for a few hours, but I'm impatient. Just going to readjust the grip there so I don't melt a hole in the bucket. It was leaning too far over to the side. Yeah, I haven't got many subscribers, so please subscribe. It really does help. It sort of incentivizes me to do more when I get a subscriber. Okay, that's the end of this video, so don't forget to check out part 3 where I continue this process of making a bronze sculpture.